Today on our 2016 GMC Sierra, we're going to be taking a look at and installing the DZ Nerf Bars, part number DZ372529 in black. Now they're also available in polished stainless steel using part number DZ372527. So here's what our steps look like fully installed on our truck. Now these are going to be great because they're going to make it a little bit easier to get in and out of our truck. Now the tube itself is steel and has a black powder coat finish, so it is going to resist rust and corrosion, and it is a 4-inch oval tube. It has 2 steps per side, and the step pad is made of an anti-slip plastic, so you know you're going to have a secure footing each time you get in or get out of your truck. Now the steps themselves are going to be right about 24.5 inches long. They're going to be right at about 4¼ inches wide. Now these steps are going to give you a nice, clean, stylish look to your truck while still helping you get in and out. Now that we've gone over some of these features, let's show you how we get them installed. To begin our installation, we're going to look underneath our truck, and towards right at the back of our cab here, we're going to have a cab mount up underneath, as well as one right in between our doors here, and then one right behind our front tire. Now we're going to need to remove these bolts, but leave the factory bushing inside. Now I'm going to be using a 21mm socket to remove the bolts. Starting in the front, this is going to be our front bracket that we're going to be mounting. We're going to take our factory bolt and we're going to take the washer off. We're going to slide the bolt through our bracket, follow it with our factory washer, then followed by our gold spacer washer, and then finally we're going to be putting a rubber washer in place, and we can put our bolt back in the factory position, and we can just leave this hand tight for right now. Now we are going to have the flush flat part with the 2 holes facing towards the outside of the truck. Now our rear bracket is going to be the long bracket. Now again, we're going to make sure that the flat piece is facing away or towards the outside of the truck. And we're going to take our factory bolt and again, remove the factory washer, feed the bolt through our bracket, put our factory washer back on, and then grab one of our rubber washers, put it on top of that. Then we can thread our bolt in just enough to hold the bracket in place, and again leaving it hand tight for right now. Now for the center bracket, it's going to have 4 holes on one side of our plate and then a slot on the other side, and it's going to be in an L shape like this. Now we're going to take again our factory bolt, we're going to go through the slotted side, follow it up with our factory washer, followed by our large spacer washer, and then finally a rubber washer on top of that. And we're going to put this in hand tight. Now we can get ready to put our step bar up, but before we do, on the end caps here, we're going to have some plastic caps that are going to go over. We want to make sure that these are on whenever we bolt them in place, because it's going to keep our step bars from scratching against our bracket, and we don't have to worry about any rust or corrosion building up. Now with an extra set of hands, I'm going to have a little bit of help holding up my step bars. Now we're going to reach on the back side of our bracket here, and I'm going to take my M12 bolt, followed by a flat washer and a lock washer, and on my bracket here, I'm going to be going to the top hole. And right now I'm just going to thread my hardware in, just hand tight, just so I can get it to support the step bar. I don't have to worry about it falling. And then we can put our hardware in place in the rear. Again, just making it hand tight for right now. Now if we come to the center of our bar, where we just mounted our center bracket, we're going to find this bracket here. Now I do want to mention there is a left and a right for these. You want this section of the bracket here with the slots and the slope, you want it to have that tab facing towards the rear of the truck, because if we look underneath our step bar here, we're going to have 2 well nuts that we're gonna be attaching this bracket to. So we're gonna take our M10 bolts, followed by a lock washer, and then finally a flat washer to attach our bracket to our step bar. We can just loosely thread it in place. When we have one in place, we can put the second bolt in place. And once those are loosely in place, then we can get ready to mount this bracket to our center bracket here. Now what we're gonna do here is we're gonna take one of our M10 bolts, we're gonna take a flat washer and put it in place like that. Now we're gonna take both of these bolts and we're gonna line up our holes on our bracket and we're gonna push them through so it can support itself. Line up our brackets, and to make things easier on ourselves, I'm gonna start with the bolt head on the same side as my body mount bolt. That way when I go to tighten everything up, I don't have to worry about interference. I'm gonna take my bolts, I'm gonna stick them through, and then on the back side, I'm gonna take a flat washer, put it around each bolt. Then I'm gonna come back with a lock washer for each bolt. And then finally, I'm gonna follow it up by a nut. Now all we have left to do is tighten up all of our hardware. Now for our M10 bolts, the ones we used to bolt our two brackets together and our bracket to our bar, you're gonna be using a 16mm socket. Now for the larger bolts that we put through our brackets to attach our bar on the ends, you're gonna be using an 18mm socket. And then again, the body mounts are gonna be a 21. Now one last thing before we torque down our bolts to the final torque setting, you want to make sure that you check all the brackets that bolt into the upper body mounts. Because they are slotted, we're going to be able to have a little bit of play. So what I like to do is just take the step bars, come right in the middle, and pull straight out. That way you know that it's going to be even and nice and level going across your truck. I'm going to come back and I'm going to torque all my bolts to the specified amount in the instructions. And then I'll finish up the look at the DZ Nerf Bars on our 2016 GMC Sierra.
Click the link below to shop, learn more, or visit us at etrailer.com.